Hello and welcome to this week's episode of The Capitalist Investor. As always, you have me, Diamond Hands D, and we got the whole crew. Tony the Tiger, Cool Hand Luke. What's going on, guys?
What a weekend.
I'd say.
What a mess.
I was enjoying a nice cigar with my father at Cigar 30, it's called, in like Canton, Ohio. Next thing you know, the last 15 minutes of like last little bit of my cigar, this guy starts yelling, "Turn on the TV! Turn on the TV!" I'm like, what the hell is happening? Turn it on. Next thing you know, I see a picture of Trump on the ground and then getting up, pumping his fist with blood on his ear. I'm like, what the hell just happened? So that's the topic we're talking about today.
Yeah.
That is a topic.
Yeah. Imagine this. I was hanging out with Mark Tepper.
Oh, yeah?
They got lively. So anyway. But no, like since, the recording of this show, like obviously there was a assassination attempt. Then the vice president was chosen and the Republican National Convention is going on. It's a lot of stuff going on. Like, dude, some of the speakers at the RNC have been pretty good.
Yeah.
Really good.
I feel like there's I tweeted this. There's
Vivek,
like a new
Vivek's speech yesterday was pretty good.
Yeah.
He's good. He's good at talking.
Yep. I would definitely check that out if you haven't seen that.
Yeah.
It's a great speech. It really is. There's no other way to say it.
I feel like there's a new energy. That's why one thing I kind of said is I felt like the energy was just so low and America just didn't feel like America. And now, for some reason, after these events that past week, I feel like there's a newfound good energy of a lot of people coming together. Of course, you have the crazy far left that's still insane, but the majority of logical, rational human being Americans, I feel like are coming together, which is cool.
I agree.
I completely agree.
For right now, let's see how it plays out. But I mean, things change so fast. Like, I don't know.
But the one thing I want to hit on is, I think the most important part of this podcast today for our listeners is what does this mean from the investment economic side, right? Is there's this newfound energy? I mean, we can't assume that there's going to be a red sweep. It sure feels like that right now. I think it looks like that when you look at the polls and things going on. But a lot of stuff can happen in 4 months until November, right? We don't know what could happen with even the Democratic nominee, if Biden will be the nominee. Like, so that we don't necessarily know all the stuff, but I think it's important to talk about what would happen if there is a red sweep.
Well, I think the last couple days of the market leading after the weekend, the market was up. What's that tell you? It means that they are, the market is going to now start pricing in a Donald Trump victory. And with that victory, what essentially is happening is there's not going to be as much policy change, at least with monetary. So like, and I will even go a layer deep. It's like taxes. When you can start planning, we talked about this in last episode, like last week or something. If you can start planning for the next 1, 3, 4 years, because you know what's going to happen, like, man, like everything's volatility is what crushes the market. Yep. Uncertainty crushes the market. If you know what is going to happen, you're going to see it's not going to be as volatile.
Yeah.
So
absolutely. And I think Trump's already come out and said that he's going to take the corporate tax rate to 15%.
Yeah. Oh, wow. From 20, what is that, 21 right now?
Is it 21?
I was 18.
I thought it was 20.
Awesome.
We'll Google that as we talk here. But yeah, so what Tony said is exactly right. We've had 4 years of policy already to look at. We obviously are getting additional details from the campaign, and we know it's going to be a pro-business environment, right? And the market's obviously going to love that. We talk about it all the time, every week.
I win 21%.
21%.
Nice
job.
It was at 20, and Biden pumped it to 21 in 2017 after the job cuts or the Tax Cut and Jobs Act of 2017.
Yep. So,
it doesn't sound like a tax cut. He went from 20 to 21. What the F, dude? God damn.
everything with
I'm
them
over
is just a
everything right
scam.
now.
It really is. I'm over everything too. So it's
Get off my lawn.
it's not a get off my lawn type of
Hey,
situation.
tax
Hey,
cuts.
give me
You
don't
know,
take all my money.
I mean, we just saw this the other day. Like one of my quote unquote friends is on Facebook. He's a very left Democrat, and he saw the CPI number and it came down, and he goes, whoop, whoop, like inflation's coming down. And I'm like, hey, I don't know about you. I live in Cuyahoga County. My house got reassessed for 10% higher. So guess what? My property tax just went up 10%. Inflation's still around, dude. It still is. Even strategists, they're one of the resources that we use for helping with, fundamental analysis and things like that. And they came out and they created their own common man inflation, and wages are just not competing under Trump. The common man inflation, wages were outpacing that inflation. We were able to keep up. Right now, during Biden, we're far behind.
Yep.
And it's basic stuff: gas, food, shelter, and insurance.
Yep.
That's it. That's in the core. That's the core stuff of most people. They need all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I would tie in cell phones too. Everyone needs
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I want to go back to I think Trump, and JD Vance and the Red Cabinet and policies around that. I know one of the podcasts for this week we're going to talk more and deeper about is small caps. But one thing that's very interesting is the fact that small caps have been rallying and yields have been dropping in the market ever since, Trump assassination, Trump debate a couple weeks ago, JD Vance coming in.
Well, the Fed came out and they said some stuff too.
Well, there's also news that Trump said that he wants to keep Powell in there, so there's not much uncertainty around policy changes, which is good. I guess uncertainty, certainty is better than uncertainty when it comes to the stock market, and Powell's been kind of a little bit more dovish as of late, rather than hawkish, basically saying there's more work to do, but we're getting closer, and that the job market's not as hot. So, it's kind of interesting that, policy dictates our life, and the fact that there's a lot of certainty, it feels like right now. I think the markets are liking the certainty around the stock market.
Yeah.
They know what a Trump presidency will entail. They can kind of see what, we've already seen that happen for 4 years before. We know kind of what's in the mind of Jerome Powell and company. So if that doesn't change,
I'm surprised he said that.
direction.
I did not see that comment.
Finish his term at least is what he said.
Huh. You know where my mind goes right there is that he's trying to lure Powell into not making a political cut.
Yeah.
So will there be
there's a 100% chance right now of a rate cut in some time.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I did see it's like 90 or 100% now.
I mean, nothing's
They're
ever
pretty
100, but 90,
right,
you can call
99.
it 99.9.
Uncertainty. Well, I guess we'll see. It's September, still 3 months away-ish, right? So,
but overall, one thing is the small caps rising, and we'll talk more about that in the next one. But deregulation. Trump is, Trump and Co. is looking to deregulate, which is good for financials. We've talked about that. You see some banks rallying past couple of days. I think like regional banks like PNC. I've been keeping an eye on the KRE, which is the regional bank ETF. So, that's been looking interesting ever since more red is looking to take over deregulation, better for loans, better for small business. I think that's one of the culprits to that. So what I'm referring to here is there's an obvious Trump rally happening in the stock market, and the question is it already done? Is it run up into the election? Is that Trump rally kind of over with? Because I mean, how much closer can you get to, like, I think right now Trump and the betting odds are like 75% chance of winning, which is pretty damn high. Like, how much closer can you get to 100% from here to the the for the Trump trade to keep?
That's one of the things we were watching on Saturday.
Yeah,
Saturday
night. Mark was having some fire tweets.
Yeah, he was firing off. But if you think about it, a lot of, like the Senate is an election in November too, and it could be they talked about it last time, but a red wave, where, you have a dominance in the House, the Senate, and the presidency. Like, wow, there's going to be a lot of moving and a shaking.
Well, J.D. Vance, I rewatched half of the movie. I fell asleep. I need to go back and watch the other half again. But I watched Hillbilly Elegy, which is J.D. Vance's movie and book. I was watching half of that last night. But J.D. Vance, I think, was a great selection. I want to hit on that real quick. I think he was a great selection for VP. It kind of like brings in like the Ohio, Pennsylvania, Michigan middle class, bootstrapping from the ground up story. I think that he really couldn't have picked a better person for that.
But it's strategic for that.
Yes.
The swing states that are in the Midwest, that's why he's there.
And you saw Bitcoin rally after J.D. Vance was announced.
10%.
He's kind of a Bitcoiner, so that was kind of interesting from a cryptocurrency standpoint. All I'm saying is
$100,000 coin coming in hot, right?
All I'm saying is us guys in Ohio, we're built different. We've got good beards. So
we've invented the beard.
That's right.
Well,
Not much to do in Ohio.
I will say, one last thing. This is a show mainly about economics and finance and the markets. As someone who has really disliked the Republican Party and what it's kind of done, especially in the last 3 years, it does finally feel at least a bit unified.
Yes. And
the key players seem to be established who are outside of the mainstream, right? I've had enough of the, Mitch McConnells and Lindsey Grahams of the world who, are just liars, for lack of a better term.
And lifelong politicians.
Yeah, lifelong politicians who will say anything to remain where they are. So from that standpoint, and the message too, we talked about all the different speeches, but there was many of them that I think were pretty powerful. So I do at least enjoy the overall message that I think's been sent out in the last week.
We were kind of debating on bringing this up, but I guess we can end on this one. What's very interesting, though, day before the assassination attempt, is you start looking at long-short ratios and stuff on DJT, which is Donald Trump stock.
Yep.
Apparently, there was a lot of shorting activity that happened on, Friday?
Yep, the day before.
So this is now. I just want to start by saying, this is on X, Twitter, I can't confirm or deny that, but it's on there and somebody's talking about it. But go ahead, Luke.
Well, it just raises questions. Did somebody know that this was going to happen?
A high shorting that if he were we talked.
So we go back to 9/11 real quick. So you go back to 9/11. There was high shorting volume in the airlines. Probably another country. That was proven. There was puts bought on airlines back in the September of 2001, right before the airlines 9/11 happened, and the airlines just completely plummeted. So that's happened in the past. Why would people short Donald Trump stock heavily more than usual the day before his assassination attempt? Just raises questions.
There's lots of irregularities about the whole thing. And we can't go into them now, but a lot of questions still need to be answered on exactly what happened, because it seems to be unclear and not a lot of answers.
He survived and the stock jumped 20-30%.
Yep.
But if he would have, if it was a successful assassination, you think that stock would have plummeted, or would it have gone even higher? No.
Him tweeting is basically the only
thing going on.
Him posting on it is really the only thing that it has going.
That stock has a market cap of $5 billion.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is.
And I don't think they do anything.
No, they lose. I think they lost $200 million.
Or something. It's nuts. It's a worthless stock. Anyway,
how do you lose $200 million when you're just a social media platform? That's amazing to me.
They need to merge with Elon. Figure that out somehow.
Yeah. Why does he? Well, if Elon wants to donate $45 million a month. Just take that $5 billion a year and buy the.
It's only $5 billion.
Yeah,
it's only 3% of his net worth, or whatever.
Yeah, it's only 3%, dude. Small allocation. Small allocation.
All right. Well, lots to think about and watch over the next several months, but. Thanks for listening to this episode. If you guys have any questions or comments, show ideas, hit us up at info@swpconnect.com, and we'll talk to you next week.
The opinions expressed in the podcast are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any investment, legal, financial, or tax strategy. It is only intended to provide education about the financial industry. Please consult a qualified professional about your individual needs.